Ask Paul, what is a nuclear meltdown? What is a meltdown?
Well, actually, what it is when the uranium core in a nuclear power plant gets super hot, it melts the fuel, the steel. This all becomes a super hot puddle that falls to the bottom of the reactor, and then it can actually melt through the bottom of the reactor vessel, burn through the concrete mat, and then all the way down into the ground. And if it hits water, it will explode. All this time, there is a tremendous amount of radioactive gas coming off in this uncontrolled reaction.
And let me just ask Dr. Bob, why do we call it the China syndrome?
China syndrome was when they actually had this meltdown that went down through the bottom of the floor, and the idea was it would go all the way through the center of the Earth, fictionally, of course, to China. But the risk is that you have two particular radioactive elements you're worried about. One is iodine, and iodine is the one that could get into the thyroids of children, cause 5,000 to 7,000 cases of cancer after Chernobyl. The nightmare compound, though, is cesium. The iodine lasts for about 8 days, the cesium for 30 years.
30 years before the active half-life, and it no longer a public health danger.
Just the half-life of it. So it's an extremely dangerous situation. You never know early on with this just exactly what's happening. There's always a little bit of confusion, a little bit of obfuscation, a little bit of don't want to worry people too much, but a little of cesium has already been seen in the air.
Particularly worry people in a nation where 250,000 died from radiation poisoning after we bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki to end World War II. Dr. Tyson, you have a situation here where we're saying that Japan is now 8 feet closer to the United States as a result of the profound power of this earthquake?
Well, it's 8 feet out of many thousands of miles. But yes, when continental plates move, they can take its whole pieces of the Earth's crust get shifted, subducted, slid, moved, and in fact, when you redistribute the mass of the Earth, you actually change what's known as its moment of inertia, and when you do that, you change the rotation rate of the Earth as well. So you can calculate what effect this has on the Earth. But that would happen with any earthquake. It just happened to be an occasion where we can tell you about it now.
But in 8.9, the fifth largest, I think, ever recorded, the largest in 1,200 years of
since we've been keeping data. Yeah. Oh, by the way, also, of course, it's only the China syndrome if the reactor's in the Western Hemisphere.
Exactly right.
So
there it would be
you have to call it the U.S. syndrome.
The U.S. syndrome would come all the way down. Let me go back to Paul Gunter. Is this a real danger here? I don't want to scare people. Let's talk very frankly about the prospects here. Are we looking at something that could potentially turn into a devastating major public health problem with radiation in Japan?
Absolutely. We've already seen this type of accident at Chernobyl in the Ukraine. The consequences of that accident spread radioactivity thousands of miles. There were food restrictions in northern Scotland over 2,000 miles away for 20 years where lamb and sheep eating spring grasses, bringing up cesium-137 from the rainfall contaminated by the Chernobyl accident. This is something that has far-reaching effect, not only in distance, but into the far, far future.
All right, let me go back to